And now, as you listen to these words, I want you to remember one final thing. Your story is still being written. Do not decide the ending based on a chapter that is still unfolding. Too many people lose hope because they assume today's circumstances will remain forever. They believe the current struggle is permanent. They believe the current challenge has the final word. But life has a way of changing when least expected. New opportunities appear. New connections are formed. New ideas emerge. New doors open. What seems impossible today may become reality sooner than you think. That is why hope matters. Hope is not pretending that difficulties do not exist. Hope is choosing to believe that difficulties are not the end. Hope keeps you moving when progress feels slow. Hope keeps you standing when disappointment tries to pull you down. Hope reminds you that there is always another page to be written. So do not let temporary circumstances steal your vision for the future. Do not allow frustration to convince you that nothing is changing. And do not let fear talk you out of possibilities that have not yet arrived. Keep your heart open. Keep your mind steady. Keep moving forward one day at a time. There will be moments when progress feels obvious. There will be moments when progress feels invisible. Both are part of the journey. Trust the process. Trust your growth. Trust that every lesson, every challenge, and every step has contributed to something meaningful. Take a moment and look at how far you have come. Not how far you still have to go. Not what remains unfinished. Not what has not happened yet. Look at the progress you have already made. There was a time when the challenges you face today would have overwhelmed you. There was a time when a single setback could have caused you to stop completely. But you are not the same person anymore. Life has taught you lessons. Experience has given you wisdom. Hardship has revealed strengths you did not know you possessed. Growth is often difficult to recognize while it is happening. You become so focused on the next goal that you forget to appreciate how much has already changed. You focus on what is missing. You overlook what has been gained. You focus on the closed door. You overlook the new abilities you developed while standing in front of it. Do not make that mistake. Give yourself permission to recognize your progress. Not with pride, but with gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons. Gratitude for the resilience. Gratitude for the strength that carried you through difficult seasons. Every challenge left something valuable behind. Every obstacle taught you something. Every struggle added another layer to the person you are becoming. Nothing was completely wasted. Even the difficult chapters contributed to your growth. The person you are today knows things the old version of you could not understand. The person you are today can handle situations that once felt impossible. That is progress. That is growth. And that growth will serve you well in the days ahead. Do not overlook it. Recognize it. Appreciate it. And let it remind you that you are far stronger than you sometimes believe. Before you move forward, remember this. You do not need to have everything figured out right now. Many people delay their next step because they are waiting for complete certainty. They want every answer, every detail, every guarantee. But life rarely works that way. Clarity often comes after movement, not before it. The path becomes visible as you walk it. The next step becomes clearer after you take the current one. Do not let uncertainty convince you to remain stuck. You do not need to see the entire road to make progress. You only need enough courage to take the next step. Think about how much energy has been wasted worrying about things that never happened. How many nights were spent imagining worst-case scenarios? How many opportunities were delayed because fear demanded absolute certainty? Fear always asks for guarantees. Growth requires trust. Growth requires action. Growth requires the willingness to move forward even when every question has not been answered. This does not mean acting recklessly. It means refusing to let fear become the decision maker. Some of the best moments in life begin with a simple step forward. A step that feels small at first. A step that seems insignificant. Yet over time, that single decision changes everything. Do not underestimate the power of small progress. Small steps become long journeys. Small choices create new opportunities. Small acts of courage build a stronger future. You are closer than you think. There is a reason I am reminding you of these things. Because the voices around you will not always speak with wisdom. Some people will tell you to give up. Others will tell you to settle. Some will project their fears onto your future. Others will judge your journey based on what they can see today. But not everyone understands the path you are walking. Not everyone knows the battles you have faced. Not everyone sees the growth that has taken place within you. That is why you must be careful whose voice you allow to shape your thinking. A single negative opinion can linger in your mind for days. A careless comment can create unnecessary doubt. A discouraging word can make you question progress that was already taking place. Do not hand over your confidence so easily. Not every criticism deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your agreement. And not every voice deserves access to your heart. Learn to recognize the difference between guidance and discouragement, between wisdom and fear, between truth and noise. There will always be people who focus on limitations, people who point out obstacles, people who explain why something cannot happen. Let them speak if they choose, but do not build your future on their doubts. Build it on conviction. Build it on perseverance. Build it on the lessons you have already learned through experience. You have come too far to let uncertainty control your decisions. Trust what has been growing inside you. Trust the strength you have developed. Trust the progress that may not yet be visible to everyone else. Not every step forward receives applause. Not every victory is immediately recognized. But that does not make it any less real. Keep moving, keep growing, and refuse to let outside noise drown out the quiet confidence that is leading you forward. I want you to think about something. How many times have you made it through a difficult season that you thought would break you? At the time, it felt impossible. You could not see a way forward. You could not imagine things getting better. Yet somehow you made it through. The storm ended, the pressure eased, and life continued. What felt permanent was only temporary. The same is true for the challenge you face today. Right now, it may seem overwhelming. It may feel larger than your strength, larger than your resources, larger than your ability to handle. But do not confuse your current situation with your final destination. Where you are today is not where you will remain forever. Seasons change, circumstances change, people change, opportunities change. The future has a way of arriving when it is least expected. That is why you must guard your perspective. Do not allow a temporary struggle to convince you that your entire story has been decided. Do not let one difficult chapter define the rest of the book. There is still more to be written, more lessons to learn, more victories to experience, more reasons to be grateful than you can currently see. The challenge before you is real. I am not asking you to pretend it does not exist, but I am asking you not to give it more power than it deserves. Your situation is part of your story. It is not the whole story. Keep your eyes forward. Keep your heart open. And remember that many of the things you once feared never happened the way you imagined. Do not surrender tomorrow to the worries of today. Better days have a way of arriving when hope remains alive. Pay attention to this moment, because many people give up just before things begin to change. Not because they are weak, not because they lack faith, but because they become exhausted. They grow tired of hoping, tired of waiting, tired of believing that tomorrow can be different from today. Perhaps you know that feeling. Perhaps there were days when you wanted to stop trying. Days when disappointment felt stronger than expectation. Days when it seemed easier to lower your hopes than risk being hurt again. But you are still here. You are still standing. You are still searching for answers. And that matters more than you realize. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is simply refusing to quit. Sometimes strength is taking one more step when you feel like stopping. Sometimes strength is choosing to believe when doubt keeps knocking at the door. Do not underestimate how far you have come. You have survived things that once seemed impossible. You have carried burdens that others never saw. You have fought battles in silence and kept moving forward. That is not weakness. That is resilience. The fact that you are still here is proof that you have not been abandoned. You have been sustained, held together through moments when you thought you would fall apart. So do not give up now. Do not walk away from the journey. The chapter you are living in today is not the final chapter. There is more ahead, more growth, more healing, more purpose. Keep moving forward, one step at a time, one day at a time, and trust that every step still matters. There is something you need to understand. Not every closed door was a loss. Some doors closed because they were never meant to carry you into your future. I know there were opportunities you wanted, plans you worked hard for, prayers you hoped would be answered immediately. When those things did not happen, disappointment followed. You wondered what went wrong. You wondered if you had failed. But hear me now. Some of the things you wanted would have taken you away from where you truly needed to be. You saw rejection. I saw protection. You saw delay. I saw preparation. You saw an ending. I saw a better beginning. There are moments when I guide you by opening a door. There are other moments when I guide you by closing one. Both are acts of love. Both are part of the journey. Do not assume that every unanswered request was a mistake. Do not assume that every disappointment was working against you. Sometimes what appears to be a setback is actually redirection. Sometimes what feels like loss is actually rescue. One day you will look back and understand why certain things never happened. You will see what you cannot see today. Until then, keep trusting. Keep moving forward. The path may not look the way you expected, but that does not mean you are lost. You are still being guided, and every step is bringing you closer to where you are meant to be. I know there were times when you felt overlooked. You watched other people celebrate victories while you quietly carried burdens. You saw doors open for them while your own remained closed. You wondered why their prayers seemed to be answered first. And if you are honest, there were moments when discouragement settled into your heart. You tried not to compare. You tried to stay grateful. But deep inside, you still asked the question, when will it be my turn? Hear this clearly. Another person's blessing is not evidence that I have forgotten you. Another person's success does not cancel the plans I have for your life. I do not write every story the same way. I do not lead every person down the same path. What I am doing in someone else's life is not a measurement of what I am doing in yours. Your journey has its own timing. Your purpose has its own process, and your season will arrive at the moment it is meant to arrive. Do not become distracted by looking at what others have received. The moment you spend all your attention watching their path, you risk missing what I am doing on yours. Stay focused. Stay grounded. Stay faithful. Some of the things you admire in others were built through battles you never saw. Some victories came after years of struggles that remained hidden from the world. You are seeing a chapter. I see the entire story. Trust that I know what I am doing. Trust that I have not lost sight of you. Trust that your future is not delayed because someone else moved ahead. There is room for your blessing. There is room for your opportunity. There is room for your breakthrough. And when the time comes, what I place in your hands will not require comparison to anyone else's journey. It will be uniquely yours, prepared for you, and worth every step that brought you here. Listen carefully. One of the greatest battles you have faced has not been around you. It has been within you. The battle between faith and fear. The battle between hope and doubt. The battle between what I have spoken and what your circumstances seem to say. There were moments when you wanted to believe, moments when your heart felt full of expectation. But then another setback appeared. Another delay arrived. Another disappointment stood in front of you. And suddenly the questions returned. What if nothing changes? What if I have been hoping for too much? What if I am waiting for something that will never happen? I know those thoughts. I know those fears, but they were never meant to become your truth. Fear always focuses on what could go wrong. Faith focuses on who is in control. Fear studies obstacles. Faith remembers promises. Fear says the situation is impossible. Faith says nothing is impossible when I am involved. That is why you must be careful what voice you listen to in this season. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves your agreement. Not every doubt deserves a place in your heart. Some thoughts arrive only to steal your peace. Some worries appear only to drain your strength. Do not build your future around your fears. Build it around what you know. And what you know is this: you have survived every difficult season that once seemed impossible. You have overcome challenges you never thought you could face. You are still standing, still moving, still believing. That did not happen by accident. I have been sustaining you all along. The same hand that carried you through yesterday is carrying you today, and it will carry you through whatever comes next. So lift your eyes. Do not let fear tell the story of your future. The story is not finished yet, and there is more ahead of you than what lies behind. There is something I need you to notice. The things that once satisfied you no longer feel the same. The places that once felt comfortable now feel restrictive. The conversations that once held your attention no longer bring you peace. You have wondered why. You have questioned whether something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. You are growing. And growth often feels uncomfortable before it becomes beautiful. Many people mistake transition for confusion. They assume that because everything feels uncertain, they must be moving in the wrong direction. But sometimes uncertainty is evidence that an old season is ending. I am leading you beyond what is familiar. That is why some things no longer fit. That is why certain opportunities have lost their appeal. That is why some relationships have become distant. You are not losing your place. You are outgrowing it. Do not be afraid when old patterns begin to break. Do not panic when familiar routines start to change. A seed must break open before new life appears. A doorway must be left behind before a new room can be entered. And a chapter must end before another can begin. Trust the process even when you cannot see the full picture. You do not need to understand every detail right now. You do not need all the answers today. You only need enough faith to take the next step. I know the future feels uncertain. I know questions still remain. But I am already standing in the tomorrow that concerns you. I have seen what is ahead. I know what is coming. And I would not be leading you forward if there was nothing waiting for you there. The change you feel is not a warning. It is an invitation to trust me more deeply than before, an invitation to release what no longer serves your purpose, an invitation to walk boldly into the season that is now unfolding before you. Hear me now. You have spent so much time wondering why things have taken so long. You prayed, you believed, you hoped, yet the answer did not arrive when you expected. And little by little, disappointment tried to convince you that nothing was changing. But what if the waiting was not working against you? What if it was working for you? There are things I could only build in you through time. Patience cannot be rushed. Wisdom cannot be borrowed. Strength cannot be given without testing. The very season you wanted to escape was producing something valuable within you. You saw delay. I saw development. You saw silence. I saw preparation. You saw closed doors. I saw protection. Many times you asked for immediate answers. But if I had released everything at once, you would have carried a blessing without the foundation required to sustain it. That is why I kept working beneath the surface. Even when nothing appeared to be moving, even when your faith felt weak, even when your hope was fading, I never stopped working. Not one prayer was ignored. Not one tear was wasted. Not one moment escaped my attention. What feels slow to you is often precision in my hands. I do not rush what requires careful preparation, and I do not abandon what I have chosen to complete. The waiting has not been empty. Something has been growing beneath the surface, something stronger than you realize. And very soon, you will begin to understand why this season unfolded the way it did. My beloved child, there are moments in life when I begin to remove things that can no longer go where I am taking you. And when that happens, it often feels confusing. You wonder why certain friendships faded. You wonder why certain opportunities disappeared. You wonder why plans that once seemed perfect suddenly fell apart. But hear me carefully. Not every closed door was a loss. Some doors were closed because they were leading you away from your purpose. Some relationships ended because they could not continue into the season I have prepared for you. Some disappointments were actually protection wearing the disguise of rejection. You cried over things that I was quietly rescuing you from. You mourned situations that would have eventually wounded your spirit. You questioned my silence while I was shielding you from battles you never saw. My child, I know it hurt. I know there were nights when you replayed conversations in your mind. I know there were mornings when you woke up carrying unanswered questions. I know there were moments when you wondered if you had done something wrong. But you must understand this. Your value was never determined by who left. Your worth was never determined by who failed to appreciate you. And your future was never dependent on a door that I chose to close. What I remove for a reason. What I allow to leave for a purpose. And what I have prepared ahead of you is far greater than what remains behind you. Do not spend your energy trying to reopen doors that I have already shut. Do not keep chasing what I have called you to release. Trust me, even when you cannot understand the process, I am working for your good. The chapter that ended was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of something new. And what comes next will reveal why the previous season had to come to a close. My beloved child, do not ignore what you have been feeling lately. There is a reason your heart has been unsettled. There is a reason certain things no longer bring you the same comfort they once did. There is a reason you have felt as though something is changing, even when you cannot explain it with words. You have been asking questions in the quiet places of your heart. Questions that few people know about. Questions you have whispered when no one else was around. Lord, what is happening to me? Why does everything feel different? Why do I feel as if I am standing between one season and another? Hear me now. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. And you are not imagining what you feel. I am the one who has been stirring your spirit. I am the one who has been awakening desires within you that cannot be satisfied by the things that once held your attention. The restlessness you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. The discomfort you feel is not abandonment. It is transformation. For too long you have thought that silence meant I was absent. But my child, I have been closer than you realize. I have seen every tear. I have heard every prayer. I have watched every battle you fought when nobody else knew you were struggling. And now I am bringing you into a season where what was hidden will begin to make sense. Do not fear the changes taking place around you, for I am guiding you even when you cannot see the path ahead. And what I am preparing for you is greater than anything you are leaving behind.